All right, Phil, we're out here at Arlington Supercross. You're not racing day, you're just kind of here hanging out. I want to talk to you, man. Like 18 years as a professional racer. I think 2006, if I'm not mistaken, was your first pro race.
Yeah.
Just looking back, like when you think about your career, what do you think of?
I don't know. There's so many highs and lows throughout 18 years. You kind of just forget about the past because you're always looking at the next year, especially in our sport, because you're always worried about the next contract, the next thing, the next race or whatever. So it's hard to actually sit down and pinpoint, what you actually think. But did I think back in 2006 when I did my first national, I'd still be racing at 34? No, because back in 2006, guys were retiring at 25, 26 years old. So that was kind of the standard. But nowadays, the longevity of the sport's kind of going longer and stuff like that. But I don't know. I'm happy with what I did. I just, I don't know. It's kind of like I get mixed feelings. I wish I would have made more money. I wish I would have made some better life decisions and choices with people in my life and teams and whatnot. But I don't know. I am pretty grateful to make it 18 years, though.
Back in '06, like you were a very fast amateur. You were getting some wins at Kawasaki Race Champions. You're doing well at Loretta's. What did you think your career path would be at that time, though, when you were going pro? What were your expectations?
Well, back then it was just like, if you weren't a top amateur and you didn't get on PC, Factory Yamaha, Geico, Honda at the time, it's just like you kind of got left out in the wind. And I always kind of was brought up in a good group of amateur kids, Kennards, Izzy, Stroops, even like the Millsaps, Alessi era and stuff like that. So the Tickle era. So there's so many unreal talents back then. But the goal was to always try and be pro and make money at it. But I still went to high school and stuff like that. And I think I was going to be a professional racer. In my mind, I wanted to, if that was going to turn out that way or not. But I don't know. It's like I said, it's hard to really pinpoint it. But when I went to do my first national in 2006, it was just me and my dad in a Dodge pickup truck. And
High Point?
No, it was what was my Broom Tioga?
Okay,
2006,
yeah. Wow.
So it was just me and my dad and my buddy Paul Bruno, and it was just kind of. We had no idea what we were doing, and we just kind of went there after Loretta's, and we're hoping to get a ride, and it never really panned out. And I actually had to go back and do Loretta's again in 2007, and after that, I was kind of lucky enough to get a ride with Bobby Hewitt, who now runs the Triumph team. So, it was just, even for my dad, like when you're a 17-year-old kid, you really don't know the right stuff, and it's a lot different now than what it was back then. There was no set plan. There was no perfect direction in order to go. Like now there's kind of like a basic protocol on what to do and stuff like that, and certain people that you'd want to talk to and get advice from and vice versa. So a lot of stuff I learned throughout the years, and definitely learned the fucking hard way. And if I had to do that again, I definitely wouldn't do it again. So but I'm glad it turned out the way it did.
So not getting a lot of attention from the factory teams and options, was that frustrating or more motivating? Maybe a little bit of both?
It was more frustrating, but like I said, I went to high school, so I never did all the amateur nationals. I literally only did Ponca, Loretta's, and Minio. So I had 3 chances to really show myself, and for me that was a lot of pressure. And I wasn't a great student because I just wanted to race dirt bikes. Everyone was going down to Florida and doing training and stuff like that, and I'm trying out for the school basketball team just so I can stay in shape, you know what I mean? So, the way I had to do it, it's like I said, it's way different now than what to see the kids doing at club and going to training facilities and stuff like that. So, it was definitely the fucking hard way. So, I wish it could be different, but the route I did take, it kind of spiraled out of control, and then it was definitely a long climb back out of the hole to get back to kind of where I was today.
Yeah, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Ryan Clark helped you out early on,
Yep.
and then you mentioned Bobby Hewitt, 1110 Mods, a factory Husky fill-in ride, JGR, Club
Yep.
MX now. So a lot of really cool opportunities, though. So in the end, to me, a successful career. Would you define it as a successful career?
I guess it was successful. Like I had a lot of really good results, and I always, it was never for a lack of effort. I always put in the extra time. I never took the lazy route on things, and even back when I was dead broke and didn't really have two pennies to, rub together, like me and Alex Martin, I don't know, it sounds so lame, but we literally worked our balls off day in and day out, and we didn't know where the next paycheck was really going to come from. So waiting for that next opportunity to come, so when it did come, we could kind of take advantage of it. So, but even with that, like, I had a lot of really good sponsors. One right here, Thomas Fitcher from NFAB, sponsored me for a long time and still does to this day, and Dr. Maresca from St. Lawrence Radiology. Like, if it wasn't for people like that, when I didn't have two pennies to rub together, I would have been out of the sport a long time ago. So it's people like that that believed in a dumbass kid from New York that made it possible to show my talent in what I do, so, which is cool.
And I think with you, the personality kind of got people started to learn who you were. And, you're a bit of a smart ass.
Yeah.
You can be negative, but in a funny way. And that probably helps with your promotion, and the sponsors really enjoy helping you.
Yeah, but I got something to say about that too, because when I was a kid, I was the same way now as I was when I was a kid, 17, 18. Like, if there was an old adult that I didn't agree with, some team managers, especially some team managers when I was a rookie and in my earlier years, not that I hated them, but I'm just like, they weren't doing things for my best interest, you know what I mean, at that point in time. So I really didn't have a problem telling them to fuck off too, So, but now it's like, it's different. Like, you have some respect from certain people, and I give those people that give me respect as well, So it's kind of like it's a balance. But I was literally over at Triumph just 10 minutes ago, and I was talking to Bobby Hewitt about it, because in 2008, Bobby gave me my first break, literally paid me $40,000 a year, and he's going to get so mad, but the team sucked, like, back then they could only afford parts for certain guys, and I didn't get the good parts, and that's just how it was back then, you know what I mean? And then my second year, our second time around with Bobby Hewitt, 10 years later, I got my first 450 podium with him, with the Husky guys. So it's just funny how it all works out. But I learned a lot back then in 2008, people I wanted to be around and people I didn't want to be around. And it's still to this day the same thing.
How has the sport changed since you were a rookie? Like, something significant that stands out?
Obviously, I don't really know. It's the social media side of things has really changed. Nowadays, like, obviously social media is a big factor here, but I feel like if that was just as big back then, I think maybe my personality would have grown faster, or people would have understood me a little bit better. And, it's people like Mathis, unfortunately, even though he's a janky radio show, like, that sort of stuff gave people an insight on how I was and stuff like that. So that kind of helped. But the social media aspect was a really big factor in how it changed. And you get kids that get all these clout chasers and this and that, but they can throw whips and throw a banger on Instagram, but they suck on a racetrack, So my mentality is still always train and be a racer on Saturday night. I don't care about a Tuesday. So
now you're kind of the old crusty vet. You
Yeah.
can be a mentor to some of these kids. Do you enjoy that aspect of helping kids that are coming up and around Club MX?
Yeah, I mean, even not just club, but even other kids on other teams, not making the same mistakes I did. Because like I said, I learned the real hard way. I wish I had somebody that was 30 tell me when I was 17 what to do or whatever. But even now, just talking to them on how they need to navigate, talking to certain sponsors and stuff like that, or just even investing money and stuff like that if they don't make a whole lot of money and stuff. Just being smart, because a lot of kids that are 21 years old are making $250,000, $300,000 a year, and they think that money's just going to keep coming year after year, and they don't really understand, like, 25, it could be all over. The following year, it could be all over. So just stuff like that, just normal life balance stuff, not just dirt bike shit.
You find motivation from the kids coming up though too, like new styles, new
yeah,
ambition.
yeah.
Does it reinvigorate your fire?
Yeah, fuck yeah. I mean, even from my days at JGR and racing the 450 class, like, even my styles developed a shit ton from what I used to in 2014, like, to 2024. Like, Dean Wilson even said, he goes, dude, you look so much different on a bike now, 10 years later, and it just. But that's just evolution of the sport. Bikes change, setup changes, the way you go about things change. So it's pretty cool to see.
Just a couple more questions. So let's go with a couple opportunities in the last year to have some of your best finishes ever. A2 last year at the Triple Crown. You led for a while, and then at was it San Diego, or San Francisco?
Yep.
Had a chance for a podium. Those opportunities are starting to get harder and harder to come by. Does that bother you? Does it, when you have those opportunities, does it kind of eat at you, or
Yeah, yeah, they eat at me a lot, but at the same time, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. It's hard to, I don't know, justify it as just a result, but at the bottom of my heart, I still would like a Supercross podium. Does that happen? Probably not. I'm going to be realistic. I've been realistic my whole career, so I've always been a 4th to 10th place guy, so to be that 1, 2, and 3, do I have the balls to send it that little extra bit that what it takes? No. That's come and gone. So, and my past 3 years have been really rough on my body, between my wrist, my forearm, my knees. So I just want to stack good results. And if the podium does come, the goal when you're a kid is to be a Supercross champion. And then as you go along through the years, it goes from wanting to get a podium or being top 5 consistently. So it just...
Now it's just like go home healthy.
Yeah, now it's go home healthy, but not only that, but like I still want to race and be competitive. I don't go down to the line not to not get a podium or do the best I could, but there's a little bit more thought that goes into the risk. But if you'd have told me years ago, 2010, I'd be 5th place 450 guy in outdoor nationals, I'd say you're a fucking liar, or even a podium guy. But to actually check those off on my bucket list is pretty unreal. So, I don't know. I still would like one. If that comes or not, it is what it is.
Let's close this out with your best racing memory of your career. What stands out?
I mean, honestly, for me, Unadilla getting my first 450 podium because it was at home. My family was there. My dad was there. So, for me, that means more than anything because I think my dad and people around me who supported me for a long time almost enjoyed it more than I did, which that's kind of what you do it for anyway. So to kind of give back, like people that like my sponsors, like Mr. Tom, like, yeah, they spend all this money and they've helped you out throughout the years. It's the only way you can really repay them back. No, the only way to really pay them back is your hard work and results. So that means more than anything. But I don't know. Unadilla was pretty cool, but I've had some really good milestones throughout my career. And my first moto podium at Glen Helen in 2015, like that was unreal for me. And it's hard to put into words because you work your fucking ass off your whole life to get to that point for 35 minutes. You know what I mean? And that's literally, you do it for 35 minutes. So, and to get a Supercross podium is literally 15 plus 1. So I don't know. It's kind of crazy to think about it, and when you think about an aspect like that, but pretty cool though.
All right, man. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you.